Hello everyone, my name is Justin Feynman, and this is my final project for Oceanography 10 in the fall 2024 term. For the final project, I decided to keep the same theme as my midterm, that being a planet full of shape-filled continents. First and foremost, I made several edits to my midterm, in order for my map to be much more accurate. My biggest issue was that I mixed up many of the different plate boundary features with their specific plate boundaries. After reviewing Lab 2, the way I decided to edit this issue was to not get rid of the features, but to instead put in the correct type of plate boundaries. You can for example see this in the top right of the parallelogram precinct, where before, the boundary next to the river valley was a convergent boundary in my midterm. However, now in this map, I changed it to a divergent plate boundary, so that now the feature makes sense being located there. This was done for many different parts of my map, and I hope now that I accurately showed what type of features happen at each boundary. With that out of the way, our new task during the final was adding inhabitants to our planets. I decided that all of my continents would be inhabited by shape-like life forms that correspond with their continents. For example, the oval islands have oval life forms, the circle colony has circle life forms, and the crescent crew has crescent life forms. All of these life forms are very different from each other, and you can really see that with the types of impacts they have made on the planet as they are all unique. We'll start with the oval islands, which have some cities in its several islands. From the knowledge gathered in Lab 11, we know that due to this, we have a lot of marine point source pollution occurring from this area of the planet, with plastic and metal strewn across the waters. You can even see a trash island formed just off the coast of the biggest island due to this. Moving on, we see the Triangle Territory, which is a very forest-heavy region. We see that one forest remains at the bottom right, whereas the others have been deforested. This causes less carbon dioxide to be absorbed, which in turn allows more carbon to be free in our atmosphere, causing increases in temperature across the planet. When we have this, as seen in Lab 5, it can cause mass melting of ice across our planet, which leads to rising sea levels, which impacts not only the marine life of the planet, but the inhabitants of the planet as well. The rectangle residence is a wetland, with many rivers all around it, much like the Shape Islands near the middle of the map. The difference between these two continents, however, is that the rectangle residence allows for the rivers to flow unburdened, which in turn allows for natural erosion and more diverse marine life, whilst the Shape Islands inhabitants have installed dams. These dams stop the water flow, throwing off the natural cycle of erosion as well as disrupting marine life located there. This is shown in Lab 4, as actions such as blocking rivers can lead to sediment being blocked from being transported. The crescent crew at the top right is where the planet gets its fish supply, and therefore that area suffers from severe depletion of marine life. From Lab 12, we also know that changes in our climate which the planet is suffering from can cause devastation to marine food webs, which makes this added depletion from overfishing especially costly. The circle colony that neighbors it is where the vast majority of the population lives. The numerous cities located there have caused major habitat loss, as these areas once inhabited by several species have been instead colonized. Major pollution and carbon emissions ruin the environment, the neighboring oceans, as well as the atmosphere through more increase in temperature. The last continent is the parallelogram precinct, where many industrial plants and factories are located. This leads to unsafe pollution of chemical waste, including radioactive waste, through our atmosphere and waters, further damaging our troposphere and harming marine life living close to this continent. Especially in our waters, as we learned from Lab 12, this waste is costly, as it leaves water uninhabitable for a variety of marine life. Overall, it's astonishing how many parts of this planet have changed since it has been inhabited. I hope for this planet's sake that its inhabitants can realize the damage that they're doing to this great shaped planet and be more responsible with their choices. Thank you for listening, and thank you for teaching us Oceanography 10.